Beautiful. So, guys, let's take some notes right now. Let's take some notes. Take a little deep breath. Let me get my water, coordinator. Hey, look at me. Got my gallon right here. Look, got my gallon right here. Got this gallon right here. This gallon right here. I'm crushing it, Earl. Whole bunch of gallons. Now, the bad thing, I gotta throw these gallons away. That's the bad thing. I gotta throw these gallons away. All right, cool. So, guys, write this down. Write this down. For today's call, we're gonna go over 3 to 4 recordings of agents talking to clients. If the recording is you, I didn't pick on you, but I love you, and I want you to get better. So if you have different recordings of agents talking to a live client on the phone. You remember back in the day, David, you had, film session, and you had a sports session where you watched film and you broke down the film, you kind of dissected it, how it went well, how it went badly. So we're gonna do that today. We're gonna watch film today, Jonathan Owens. We're gonna watch film to see how the agent did in that call. I'm gonna stop the call as we keep going through the whole presentation and give the good and the bad of that call, okay? Also for today, I wanna show you guys a method that I've been using for the last 5 to 6 years, to write, thousands and thousands of insurance policies. So write this down on your piece of paper. It's called the straight line method. So write that down, the straight line method. So in a presentation with a client from start to end, it should be a straight line. Now, I understand, Jack, in that straight line, what that straight line means is that you're gonna follow the script to the T in a straight line. If you deviate, if you go off the script, you're going hilly. But the goal in a presentation is a straight line. You know why? Because those are the ones you guys call the lay downs, the easy ones, all right? But when it gets a little bumpy, you're like, oh man, how do I navigate through this? So the goal in a presentation, I have a straight line presentation, Eddie. Now, I understand the client is gonna give you things such as get to the quotes. I can't qualify for it. I can't afford it. And that's where it gets a little hilly, right? You guys follow me? But the goal is to get it to be a little hilly, Jonathan, and then bring it right back to a straight line again. Your goal is not to keep it hilly, going up, no. You want a straight line. When the client throws you off, and that's not in the script, for example, the client's like, get to the quotes. That is part of the straight line over here. That's not right here. So when the client throws you off, you keep going throwing off. Your goal as a professional, when you go to the doctor's office, you don't, well, some of you guys, at least sometimes I do. When you go to the doctor's office, you don't question their integrity. You don't question them. You trust them. They say, hey, come in, they will diagnose you, medications. So it's a straight line. So in a presentation, you want a straight line. Any questions so far? If you got questions, put it in the chat. Now, the 3 things you want to do to make sure you have a straight line method is to, 1, write this down, be sharp as a tack. Be sharp as a tack. And put in the chat, when I say be sharp as a tack, what comes to your mind? Put in the chat. At all 40 people, put in the chat. If you don't put in the chat, I'll know who didn't put in the chat. I'll call you out. The next thing, you want to bottle your enthusiasm. You want to bottle your enthusiasm. This is how I talk to clients on the phone. This is how I talk to clients face to face. I am not yelling at them, but I'm loud. So I'm not loud. Sorry. I'm not yelling at them, but I'm speaking clear, and I'm talking with enthusiasm and also with demand. I'm not talking like, hey, so did you request this for yourself? Or I'm also not talking like, oh my God. No, you're talking with a bottle of enthusiasm, a bottle of enthusiasm. There has to be enthusiasm. It has to be enthusiasm. So sharpers attack, a bottle of enthusiasm, and you want to be an expert in your field. You want to be an expert in your field. So we're not going to go over some recordings. All right. And guys, I listened to a lot of recordings for the last 24 hours. And I picked a few of them that I think will be very, very beneficial for you. I spent about 2 hours listening to recordings, like a hand-pick these recordings so you guys can learn from these recordings. So I actually very, very kindly, over the next 45 minutes, is for you to listen to these recordings with me and take a lot of notes. That's all I ask. If you love me, that's what you'll do. Okay? Any questions, comments, feedback? Wonderful. Let's do it, guys. Let's watch some film. Back in the old days. Watch some film. Just so you guys know, quick fact about me. I live here in Ohio, but I am a Michigan fan. I hate to say it, so go blue. All right, so I know. I probably threw some people off, like, oh my gosh, Mike, what is going on? The words come to, and I know, I get it. It's okay though. All right, y'all. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like I said, if I pick your recording, I ain't trying to pick on you. You know, you can cancel your contract. Just kidding. But just it's all for a purpose's sake to, you know, enhance the growth of you. All right. Can you guys hear? Hold on, it's coming. You gotta turn your camera, you gotta turn your volume up really, really loud.
Hey Desiree, my name is
Do you guys
John
hear it
with True
okay?
Wealth
Someone
Financial.
say yes.
How
I
you
can't
doing
hear you
today?
guys.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Wonderful. All right, y'all, take
the
notes,
reason I'm
please.
calling is I just got your request about final expense life insurance, and I see that you're located in Wakeman, Ohio, correct?
I'm in Wakeman, Ohio.
Gotcha. Okay, great. So I am the underwriter for your area. My job is just to quickly verify some information to see what your options are. However, I am required to send you my badge with my national producer number on there.
Okay.
I'm gonna text.
All right, so John's off to a great start. I have no complaints. I mean, it's a great start. He's followed the script. He's following the straight line script. He's following the straight line method. He's following the script. It's in a straight line. There's no deviating. It's perfect. All right, so he's off to a great start. Guys, I only have telesales recordings today. For my face-to-face ladies and gentlemen, this applies to you guys too. And I'll show you when. Actually, you probably know when. Okay. And guys, as we're going through the recording, put your feedback in the chat too.
Text that over to you right now.
Okay.
So I just sent that to you. It'll have a picture of myself, and my number is underneath there, just showing that I am a licensed agent in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
Just let me know when you receive that.
Okay, hold on, sir.
Okay, take your time.
So you send the badge to the client. Now there's awkward silence. If I was doing telesales and for telesales agents, I would try to eliminate that awkward silence. You're gonna overtalk, but I don't want any awkward silence. I can maybe say something like this. Hey, so how's the weather out there? People love talking about the weather. More awkward silence. It's
Okay, I
awkward.
see it.
Okay, perfect. So when you filled out this form, were you requesting information for you, or is it for somebody else?
So the client said it got the badge. But how do we know the client got the badge? We don't even know that. She could have just saying to make him like keep going forward. I will always confirm because of telesales, the client did actually get the badge. I think we went over this yesterday, right? I would confirm, like, hey, Miss Betty, on that badge, do you have it pulled up? They'll say yes. On that badge there, do you see a great smile of a young looking man? They'll probably say yes. And then you go over the badge.
For myself.
For yourself, okay. And if you don't mind me asking, what made you start looking for life insurance?
Well, I have some already. With Lincoln Heritage.
Okay,
I've been with them for over 5-6 years.
okay,
But it's not. For what I'm paying for all these years and everything, I'm not getting. I've seen other quotes. I've seen other quotes
Okay.
for much.
Please mute yourself, please.
They came much more cheaper for much, for a better rate.
okay.
More money.
Oh yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, for sure. What is your current monthly premium with them?
All right. Someone you real quick. Did you guys hear what the client just said?
Yeah, she said that it was becoming too expensive, and she didn't feel like she was getting the right amount of benefits for what she's paying.
Beautiful. I don't even know I can't even see you guys' faces right now, or who that just said that. But if I had to imagine, not to be weird, that's probably Jonathan Owens, right?
Yeah, that's me.
I got your voice memorized in my head. So what would you have said back to that?
I could have asked her, well, what about that made you feel like it was expensive, in your opinion? Like, because I want to figure out what is she actually seeing that's expensive. Like, I need her to dial that pain in just a little bit more about what she feels about that.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. That's really good. Real quick though, what I would have said is exactly that though, Jonathan. But that's like if you guys looking to make 5,000-8,000 a month, that's wonderful. You're looking to make about 20,000-30,000 a month. This is what I would say. I would say, and write this down. Ms. Betty, I'll tell you what. I'm so happy you have coverage right now. A lot of folks that I talk to, they have nothing in place. Ms. Betty, congratulations. Now, I am sorry to hear about this policy being expensive, but I can see why it's expensive because of the company you have right now. And I know the people that I talk to, they tell me every dollar counts, and they're on a fixed income. So with that being said, how much coverage is your policy right now? What I did there is I made a client feel good for having insurance. Then I put some almost doubt into their policy, not in a bad way. And then I made her feel like, yeah, I am on a fixed income. Well, I'm not paying so much for my policy. That went to my question.
I'm paying like $42 for some.
And for how much coverage is that?
I think it's only like it's less than 10.
Okay.
Then she said just now, I'm paying $42 a month and less than 8,000 a car. I was like, yeah, wow, man, why they have you paying so much money for that little policy? Hey, she's telling me the policy little. I'm agreeing with her. I'm just emphasizing it that it's also little. It's a small policy. I'm encouraging her that she is saying everything that's true. Like I'm always on her side. I'm like, yeah, wow, man. Miss Betty, that policy is expensive.
Question,
Wow.
question, Michael.
Yeah.
This is Lakeisha. So I understand about casting the doubt on the current policy and the company, but then could it backfire on us in the end? Like once we pull quotes and then because of her age or medical condition, that we're not able to beat that?
Yeah, I'm willing to take my chances on that though,
Okay.
because I may not even get to that part of the presentation, but because the goal in the presentation is to literally keep the client on the phone or keep yourself in the house of the client. So if I get down to the end, I can't beat it. I'm sure this client be very, very happy to know a licensed professional named Letitia told her, hey, your policy is the best thing for you. But for me, I want to get to that part of the script. And you guys know better than me, the client can hang up on you at any time. So I'm building trust. I'm building a sense of urgency as well. Good question.
I think it's like 8,000 or something.
Okay. So a little bit about myself. I am an insurance broker. So we work with 25 of the top companies in the country. So we have.
So what I would have done there, I would have parked the car right there. Guys, you guys understand the client is telling you right now what they're unhappy about, their situation. Why are we, it's almost like you see someone that needs a ride or needs help on the side of the street and it's your family member and you just drive off. Like the client is literally telling you right now their pain. I'm gonna park the car right there and sit there and ask questions like, wow, why are you paying so much for your policy? They'll be like, well, I don't know. That's the best thing I saw. And I'm like, wow. Oh my goodness, Miss Betty. No, a lot of folks that I talk to, they're on a fixed income. So I'm a little concerned on why you pay so much for your policy. They'll be like, yeah, I'm trying to look for a better deal. Then I'll ask her, okay, have you been shopping around for a new policy? And if you have, what quotes have you received so far? Then she will tell me. Then I want to ask her, why did she not go forward with those quotes? I'm just trying to figure out if she's told me before she's been looking around for better deals and she's been looking and she found some better deals, why has she not go forward with that? Is it because she didn't trust the person? Is it because the person said this? I'm trying to figure out why did she not go forward with the other policies she's been seeing? And this all makes sense. Put a 5 emoji in the chat.
Several options to try to get you the best rate possible, and I would love to try to get something lower for you if that's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So now John is trying to be a salesy guy. Oh, I can find you a better rate if it's possible. And John knows I got a lot of love for him, so he knows that he doesn't mind me, giving his feedback. But now he's being salesy. Well, Ms. Betty, I can find you a better deal. I can find you the lowest. No, they don't want to hear that. You can stress that point to them by asking the questions and the statements I said to you guys a few seconds ago. So now the client is selling themselves to you.
If something were to happen to you today, who would you want to protect? Like, who would the beneficiary
And
be?
then we skipped the whole script.
Other.
We skipped the whole script.
Okay.
We got down to other
And,
questions in the script, which we shouldn't have done because that's not a straight line method. We skipped the whole funeral question. We skipped other stuff too. Any question about that presentation? Questions, comments, feedback.
So if you do get down to the end of the con, and I know that she touched on this, but I know you said keep them on the phone, but just for purposes, because I'm sure this will happen. When you get down and then you do have the same quote. What do you do from there? Do you, because I imagine you don't want to just say, well, yeah, you've got the best deal possible. Don't worry about it. Have a good day.
Yeah. Got a good question. Hey,
How do
Dan.
you
Hey,
feel-
Dan. How expensive is Lincoln Heritage?
Lincoln Heritage is very expensive.
Yeah. So this is the reason why I tell you guys product knowledge is so key. I already know Lincoln Heritage is super expensive. I don't know I could beat it, Travis. Like me in my head, I already know Lincoln Heritage is one of the priciest policies in the industry. I already know I'm going to beat it. So I don't. I'm confident. Like I'm ready to know I'm going to beat it because the fact that As I said before, I'm an expert in my field. That makes sense, Travis?
Right,
So
so-
I already know I'm beating.
So I looked at Lincoln Heritage's actual rates, and they're about 6 years ahead. There you go. Somebody just put it. So if you're a 60-year-old, they're giving you normally what SBLI or American Amicable would give you for a 66-year-old. So you got a good 6-year buffer for Lincoln Heritage for you to beat the actual
Yeah.
for you to
And
beat
I'm not
the
saying
product.
you guys need to replace policies unethically. You want to do it ethically, right? If there's a good fit, better rates, and then obviously in their old policy, you may not know this yet, Jonathan. Their old policy, Lincoln Heritage, they have for the last 6 years, it builds cash value, like hundreds of dollars. They can get back sent to them in a cash form. Sorry, not cash form, a check form. And then they have a new policy they got with you as a better deal, and they're happy, and they're getting money back from their old policy. If that went over your head, call me after the call and I'll explain to you again. Michael Scott, what you got?
Yeah, just real quick. To what everyone kind of said about that. It's not even about selling on price. Your job is to provide value. Your job is to find the client value. So even if that's okay, so yeah, you might find something that might be the same price. But if it is an American Amicable, if it is the SBLI with the funeral concierge package, that, like you said, that's why it's good to have product knowledge, because there might be other benefits of a company that you might be with that might be better than the company that they have, even if it's the same price. That's why like you said earlier, you have to be sharp as a tack, and you have to be the professional, so they will trust you. And I can really say I've done that. There's been some clients who I found coverage that actually was a little bit higher, but because of product knowledge and funeral concierge package and different benefits that different companies have, they said, you know what, I'm willing to pay an extra $10 because I want to go with that company that you said. So you have to be professional. Don't worry about the price. If you start worrying about the price, and I used to do that. You start worrying about the price, I promise you will always be fighting that argument about price. Don't worry about price. Get that out your head. Find what's best for the client. You are the professional.
Good. Love that. Any question? Do about one question, we can move on. Questions are good, y'all. It's like Planet Fitness. No one's gonna judge you here. I promise you. Questions, comments, feedback. Questions are good. I could just sense one coming in your head right now, Nikita. You got a question, Nikita? Go ahead.
No, I didn't have a question, but I was just thinking about personally, like I know someone who has Lincoln Heritage, and the comparison in price and the person is completely healthy is drastic. So
Nikita used to work
I
with Lincoln Heritage.
Yeah, I did.
So look at that. She knows. And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Love that. See, confirmation. God is good. All right, go ahead, see Andre.
Are there any companies that I should look out for or study that I might run into as far as a competitor, just like the one you mentioned?
Yes, correct. Ms.
Verdell.
Verdell, if you came as Verdell, post that in the chat. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. She knows. Look at her. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, she post in the chat. I have a whole list of competitors that you guys can probably beat. Cool. All right, next recording. Good feedback. Great call so far. All right, next recording. Let's take some more notes. All right. Who is next on The Price is Right? I'm just kidding. Sorry. All righty. Let's see here. I guess if I do pick on your call, it's not because of anything malicious. All right. Thank you. All righty here. Let's see. You guys message me a lot, which I love it. All right, Christopher, you're next on The Price is Right. All right. Now, y'all be easy with Christopher now. Lives in Arizona. So he has better weather than all of us, probably. And he's brand new. But he wants to get better.
This call will be recorded for quality purposes. Hi, is Davin Carter available?
Guys, focus on one thing when you listen to this call in the first 5 minutes. Focus on one thing, y'all. Focus on one thing when you hear this call in the first 5 minutes, Earl. And think about this. Straight line method, AKA follow the script.
Devon, speak to him.
Devon, I'm sorry about that. My name is
You're good.
Christopher. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from
If you don't
Phoenix,
mind.
actually. I see you're in
No,
Columbus.
I mean,
Oh.
what company?
What company? I don't represent a company, man. I'm calling because your information came through to my desk for a life insurance quote.
All right, so Christopher, if someone called me and they said they don't represent a company, I'll probably say click. Like, who the heck? Who does not represent someone? Like, is this like a scam or what? So I know what you're going with that wording, but all you have to say is the script, and it's the first line of the script.
Or you requested some form of information. I was
Mm-hmm.
just following up with you to make sure you took care of it or see if I could answer any questions for you. I'm licensed and I can help you with anything you might need.
You guys hear Christopher?
I hear myself. Yes.
I know you do. I know you hear yourself, brother. Did you follow the script?
Not exactly. No.
It's all
One
good.
of my first calls for sure.
It's all
But
good.
yeah.
All good.
Okay. Would I have to come out of pocket for anything today?
This is what I mean. The client's going to try to take you off that straight line. And all you got to do is say something like this. The client just said, do I got to pay anything out of pocket today? All I would say is, no, sir, you do not. Now, with that being said, my name is Christopher. I'm an underwriter here in the state of Arizona. You requested information on final expense coverage. It's my job to see what you qualify for. It's a good phone number, so I can text you my badge. That's going off the straight line and coming right back on a straight line. Does that make sense? If it does, put a fire emoji in the chat. Does that make sense? Anyone have any question about that? Wonderful. But put in the chat. Let's see if Christopher follows a straight line. Yeah, let's see real quick. Do you guys believe in Christopher or not? Let's see what he does. I think he does.
Necessarily. If we got you approved for some form of coverage, you can delay like your first payment on any premiums, like up to 30 days.
So what? All right. So my next question is, what's
Sure.
the requirements for me to get approved? Like, what will give me the highest chances?
That's a good question.
To get approved?
So generally speaking, what happens or what you do is you talk to a licensed person like myself, and they'll take you through what we call an underwriting process. Really, it's just a fancy word for I'm going to ask you a couple of health questions. Just make sure from a...
All right, cool. You got to get the gist. All right. The time says we can't listen to the whole entire thing. All right. All right. Any question about that? Now, y'all don't start smirking now. I bet you guys all done it before. All right. Questions, comments, feedback about that right there.
So for me, Mike, it's really just about script, just script.
Yeah,
right.
Straight.
Okay.
Straight. Yep, straight line. Christopher did not close that one. Right, Christopher? No. Yeah. Guys, I can listen to the first 5-10 minutes. I don't know if you closed it or not. Because you didn't follow a straight line. Now, hey, sometimes a Hail Mary pass, the Washington Commanders against the Bears, They may get caught in the end zone, right? Hail Mary passes, someone's get caught. But does it always get caught? Heck no. So hear me out. You may not go the straight line, and then somehow you get to the end, you get close. Hey, that's cool and all, but I'm telling you right now, you do not have a sales process. It's called a process for a reason. It's be the same thing every single time. You don't go on Amazon and order the packages different time, different things. You order the same way. You go on Amazon, you click, put in your cart, you buy the cart, boom, same thing. You don't go on Amazon and then order a piece of whatever, and oh no, this time we actually have to go to a different site. No, it's the same thing every time. And the reason why you guys love it is because it's the same thing every time. If it was different, y'all be upset. Questions, comments, feedback.
Mike, I you know better than everyone here. I'm guilty of the same thing. Because either it's an objection or they just ask a question that takes you off track. And I used to think, and I still maybe sometimes wrestle with this. Oh, I have to like acknowledge. I have to like. I make it too real. Either I really get into the objection and like over explain it, or they ask a question takes me off script and I'm like, well, now we're talking about that. And something you told me is like it's a quick punch. You kind of quickly acknowledge what they said. It's like you're listening, but you get right back on. Like you find a way to get right back to the script. You don't have to make it too real or sit in that too long or let them control and take it off track. You just say, yeah, we can get it. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get into that in just a second. Like I was saying, I'm gonna underwrite, and you get right back into it, or send them the bag.
That's it. Boom, boom.
The only other thing, and I know I'm new here, was one of the best things in sales to get people back on track is just to ask a question. So he could have literally just asked them, hey, so let me get this straight. Were you requesting information for you or for you and someone else? And let's just bring him right back on because he's just saying whatever's coming to his mind. So that's yeah.
Exactly. And if you're answering the client's question, discovery, it's like now you're the client and the client is the agent, and you're asking discovery questions. Ain't that right, Eddie? Sorry, I had my coffee this morning, just Cal drink coffee. Cool. All right. Any questions, comments, feedback? We got one more.
Mike, I had a question.
Nikita.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
good to see.
Yes.
Real quick.
It's nice to see you too.
Go ahead.
So yesterday was my first day on the phones, and
congratulations. God, put some fire emojis in the chat for Nikita. The first step is just picking up the phone and start down. Congratulations. Good stuff.
It was a little nerve-wracking, but I mean, being in the, I don't know if it's called a phone room, but what we did, with everybody being on the data. But I only did one presentation, and I mean, my biggest thing was just making sure that I stuck with the script. So for me, like, and I don't know, maybe Caitlin can attest to this, because the script that I went through, I feel like I went through it a little quick, but would you like say or recommend just, okay, after I get through the approach and I'm in the discovery process, I keep hearing like from the videos I'm seeing on YouTube, like that 7 layers deep question. So if I keep going deeper and deeper in that process, based off of your profession, like, would you say that kind of more sets the tone for me to be able to close them? Because at that point, if I'm going deep and I've got you kind of like on the hook at an emotional level and we're talking and I've got you hooked emotionally, wouldn't you say then the client would be able to be willing to at least listen to the rest of the presentation?
You guys put in the chat, should we go deeper or no? Put in the chat, yes or no. The people are going to answer your question here in a second. All right, let's see what it say. Everyone says yes. Cool. So yeah, I'll go deeper. And I'm gonna show you a great example when it comes to going deeper here in a second. This next one, I'm gonna show you how to go real in depth with the client. Okay, Nikita. So I got you here in a second. It's a great question. If you're also doing over the phone sales and you're having a challenging time with the first 60 seconds of a call, I recommend you go onto Slack, you go to where it says sales tips, and you watch this video right here that I did with Jack Stanley and myself, Jalen. I'd watch this thing like a lot and then practice it. if you're doing telesales, this is the best video on the internet right now of how to overcome the first 60 seconds of a telesales script. You're doing face-to-face sales, do not watch that video. I'm gonna post a whole different video probably today. Okay, do not watch that video. All right, don't watch that video now. All right, but so Nikita, I got you, girl. I got you. I know you're out there in Florida enjoying a nice weather. I got you. Don't you worry. I got a good one for you brewing up right now. We're gonna go real in depth with this one right here. All right.
Hello.
Hey, Preston. It's Aiden. How have you been?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I just got your request about some final expense options in Oklahoma, and I see you're located in Pauls Valley, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just the local underwriter for your area. My job's just to quickly verify some information just to see what your options are. And Preston, is this a phone you can receive text messages at so I can send my badge over to you?
Yes,
Okay. All right, let me go ahead and send that over to you. First,
Aiden does a good job
got
with
my
the straight
info and all
line.
that good stuff. Let's see, we're sending that to 405-268-7412. Okay.
Can you guys hear Aiden okay?
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and send that over right now.
What'd you guys say?
Alright, I just sent it, so you should have just got the text message there. You can go in there and click on that real quick, and that's one thing I want to point out to you.
I don't know how to click on something when I'm talking on. I'm sorry.
Do you have me on speakerphone?
No, I'm not on speakerphone.
Yeah, if you can put me on speakerphone, and then do you know how to get to your apps from where you're at?
No, I don't.
Okay. That's all right. Well, I just want you to know it is in there. So if you go with the phone here.
So you guys hear it, right? The client cannot multitask with their phone, bless their soul, and they cannot look at Aiden's badge he sent to the client and us talking on the phone. What I would have done there is so Aiden did a good job by probing, but I would have had the client get a piece of paper and a pen and draw a picture of Aiden. Just kidding. So I had to get a client get a piece of paper and pen and write down Aiden's first and last name, phone number, and national producer number. So what's pretty much on the badge, I would have the client write that down because I understand how important it is for the client to have that information from the start.
It's just got a little picture of me, what I look like, my phone number, my email, and really one of the more important things, in the bottom left-hand corner, it's got my NPN number, and essentially what that is basically just my agent identification number with the National Department of Insurance. I just want to make sure I got that out to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's there. And if you got any questions, you can ask me. But so, Preston, on the form, you had only listed your name. So were you just requesting information for yourself, or for you and someone else?
Yeah, just for myself.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, were you requesting it because you had recently experienced a funeral, or just because you don't have anything in place at the moment?
Oh, sorry, guys.
Moment.
No, I'm just getting up in years. I need to look at things like that.
I gotcha. So do you have anything in place, or would this be the start of
I've
it?
got some. Yeah, I've got some. I just additional benefits.
I gotcha. Okay.
Once again, guys, if you the trick here is this: the client has insurance. I'm always looking to make them feel good about what I'm gonna butter them up. I want to make them feel good about them having coverage before I go into asking them about their current policy details. To me, that always works the best. So it sounds like this once again, Mr. John. I'm so happy you have insurance right now. A lot of folks that I talk to, they have nothing right now, which is very concerning to me. So I'm glad you do have some coverage right now. Now, with that being said, I wonder if it's one of the companies that we actually work with. Who do you have right now for coverage?
Well, that's good. You know, you already got some in place. You know, I'm sure you understand how it works pretty well. So, the coverage you have in place, is that a whole life or a term policy?
It's whole life.
Whole life. Nice. And do you remember what company it's with?
No, I don't know.
No, okay. Has it been a while?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. And
So Aiden made a client feel good, but not knowing what he currently has right now. I wouldn't have done that. I'm like, okay, interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, sir. It's going to probably be a little challenging for your loved ones to know who to call when you pass away if you don't know who you currently have right now for coverage. But that's fine. We can figure that out later. How much coverage do you have right now for yourself?
do you remember how much coverage you had on it?
No, I don't.
No. Okay.
Once again, same kind of response. Guys, the client knows how much coverage he has, but because you're not actually probing him, as in like challenging him respectfully, he's gonna give you surface level responses. I'm gonna challenge the client. And once again, man, you don't know the coverage either. Okay, man, interesting. Well, once again, it's gonna probably be a little challenging for your loved ones to know how much you're gonna pay out to them when you pass away. But once again, I understand. We can get to that here in a second.
I mean, really, do you know if you're still paying for that policy?
Now, that was a good
Yes, I
question.
am.
You are. Okay, I got you. All right, so like you see it coming out of the bank every month?
Yes,
Okay. Do you know what name is attached to the amount coming out?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just ask because sometimes it's easier to just go with the same company, keep things kind of in-house, if that makes sense. But if not, then
Yeah.
that's all right.
Just shopping to see what's out there and what it would cost me to. I don't know if I can afford it right now or not, but
Yeah. I got you. I guess just maybe thinking with the inflation and everything.
Cool. What would you guys say next after what the client just said just now?
Have you already been looking or gotten any quotes previously?
Boom. Good. Yes. So yeah, so you've been shopping around. That's amazing. So what quotes have you received recently? Because I was a client trying to add more coverage. So I'm trying to figure out what quotes he has received recently so I can see towards the end if I can beat that or not.
Going up recently?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's getting crazy, but what are we gonna
Yeah.
do? Gotcha. All right. Well, being as that you're kind of looking for something a little additional there, really, when it comes down to it, just kind of help me get a perspective on really what you're really looking for. Just help maybe offer you that.
I just needed some. I thought, see if I could get stuff to take care of my family if I'm gone.
So would it be more so just to make sure that your final expenses are taken care of still, or?
Yes.
Okay. So more the final expenses, or also leave some a bit additional just for them to have to help out.
Well, I might leave some additional too.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so from what you're saying, just
And then here, I'm gonna throw in a little slight jab and say something like this, where you said we can definitely look into see if what options are available for you to leave extra funds behind for your family. But so I'll be honest with you, sir, it may be challenging for us to do that if we don't know what you currently have right now in coverage. You may actually have enough. And then I'm gonna leave that there and goes to my next question. And best believe, I'm going to pull out the coverage amount he has before I show quotes at the end. It's almost like, how can I diagnose this guy and put him in a better position if I don't know what his current symptoms are right now?
Make sure 100%. This is kind of like the assurance that the funeral's going to be taken care of, and then maybe leave some extra.
Yes,
Okay. And for your funeral, do you know if you want to be buried or cremated?
Buried.
Buried. Okay, I gotcha. It makes sense, and I see where you're coming from. Yeah, because I mean, have you been involved in any burials or funerals recently?
No, not in a while.
Not in a while. Okay, I gotcha. That's nice, because sometimes if people are, you can kind of see what the
Man, that's a great thing, sir. I'm glad you have not experienced a burial in the last few years. That's a blessing. That's great to hear. Now, that being said, has anyone ever passed away in your family or friends? Made them feel good by buttering up my statement. And I went back to my question again, but I want to still figure out, has he experienced a funeral ever?
pricings like in the area, or if you know where you want to be buried and all that stuff.
No, not in a while. I had a son that I had to bury. It's been a while ago, but
That's
in the
tough.
last one.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, that's where we stand today. It's typically anywhere from like 10 to 15,000.
All right. Client talked about his son passing away. We skipped over that. I would love for you to stop right there, park the car, and talk about the son passing away. And Nikita, that's where you actually really get to dive deep into the son and figure that stuff out too. For time's sakes, I can't really dive deep into that part right now because I want to bring on Caitlin to speak for the next 15 minutes. Guys, this call usually ends at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you need to hop off at 10, feel free to do so. But Caitlin Barber has been a top producing agent for the last 3 months in a row. If it was me, I may stay on and listen. It's up to you, though. So, Caitlin, are you ready to present?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. How you doing, Michael? Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible because we are already approaching 10 a.m. But I'm excited to share this information with you guys today because I believe that you'll be able to find the information valuable. So I'm super excited, and we'll just go ahead and get right into it, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen. Mike, with your permission, thank you. All right, you guys ready? Drop some fire in the chat. Drop some fires. I don't like a quiet audience. Drop some fire, drop some ones. Let me know you're excited for the information. So we're going to talk about being on the road to true wealth. Listen, I love our agency name. I think it's absolutely really cool. So let's just go through how do I make it bigger?
And KB, you take as long as you possibly want. If they want to hop off, they can hop off.
Nice. Perfect. So we're going to talk about being on the road to true wealth, you guys, and making an impact and a change in our life here for 2025. Sorry, guys, my mouse. Let's see. I lost my mouse, guys. Hold on. I can't grab nothing. There we go. Okay. So first, let's talk about the mindset that we're going to need to go to the next level to make those changes and have the success that we're looking to have here with True Wealth. So the number one thing, you guys, when I first started in life insurance sales, I truly wasn't successful as I desired to be. I knew it was a very profitable industry because I saw other people around me, not only around me, but I also saw just like other life insurance agencies and owners on social media and on Instagram, like having a lot of true success. So I always knew that this was something that could work. I just had to figure out what did I need to do and what did I need to change in my current situation to allow those things to work for me. So I first want to talk about you know, our mindset that we need to have. Understanding that we all have a mentor here. We have coaches. You know, I look up to Michael and I look up to Jalen. Those are the individuals that took me from deposit, like making 5,000 a month, like in my bank account, to seeing over $20,000 to $25,000 on a month-to-month consistent basis. You know, in entrepreneurship, sometimes like you can get a nice deposit here and a nice deposit here. Like, no, being able to consistently make a substantial amount of income over the last few months being a part of True Wealth has absolutely changed my life on another level. So for you guys as well, whoever your mentor is, you know, you have Patrick, you have myself, you have other individuals on the call that you're able to go to, that are able to coach you and lead you and take you where you need to go. So it's a matter of remaining coachable, even after you make your first sale or two sales, or you feel like you kind of are comfortable with your script and you got the script down, and maybe you know, you're doing the 2-3 sales a week. I highly, highly recommend that you continue to stay coachable. Understanding as well that launching your business, just getting started, understanding that coming into any type of entrepreneurship industry, rather this is life insurance sales, real estate, or you're in a network marketing company. I've done that. That's where I started. But self-development is very vital and important no matter where you are at, and where you're coming from. Understanding that no matter where you are in life, even if you are just somebody who wants, Michael, somebody entered the waiting room. Even if you want to be able to position, you know, yourself for greatness in your traditional 9 to 5. You know, Jim Rohn says, be the greatest at everything that you do. Correct? So no matter where you're at or how you're getting started, figure out how to master. How can I be great at what I have now? How can I be great at only what I know right now? Because you only know what you know, right? Understanding that there is top producers in this business making the income that I'm sure you desire to make. When I first started, I saw some phenomenal women on Jalen and Mike's organization, you know, doing the 60 apps in a month, the 40 apps in a month, the 30 apps in a month. And, you know, us women, we see men do it all the time, at least for me. But it's just like, it's very, very different seeing a woman, you know, younger woman, college, fresh out of college, or, you know, retired nurses, or somebody that was going for nursing, but decided that they wanted to come into this industry. Seeing them make the money I wanted to make only made me realize that it's possible. It only made me realize that it's doable, right? So no matter who that person is, even if it's not even me, I'm sure we saw Marklin in the chat. I think he sold like 2 to 3 policies within the last 24 hours. You know, within the last 48 hours, I think he submitted like 10,000 AP. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, there's other people in the chat, Share, Nia, doing multiple applications in a day. And just remember, you guys, we are in the final expense industry. So all I mean by when I say we are in the final expense sales, what you guys are seeing in the chat as far as the AP, the majority of the time, that's what that person's depositing, unless they're like brand new and they're working on building up their comp. But if I submit in the chat 1,200 AP, I'm more than likely going to deposit at least $950 of that. So with and within a 72-hour period at that. So within our industry, you understand that when you continue to grow and develop, you will take you will take yourself from, you know, 3 sales a month, or, you know, 1 sale a week, to the 5 sales a week, to the 30 to 40 sales a month. Understanding that, you guys, we also can advertise, utilize social media. I know that we all follow routine. A majority of us are telesales. The other half of us are in the field. But regardless, advertising your business, asking for referrals, asking for customers, you guys, that's what's super important. Showing up to events. We have our next telesales event in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, next month, actually. So being able to get to the events, showing up, investing into your business, not being scared to invest into leads, not being scared to get in your car and say, you know what, let me go shake hands with Jalen and Mike in person and get in the environment in person. That way I can really fill this out for real and see this in person as well. So I do believe that each and every single one of you on the call, rather you're new, been here for a while, or just got here. Hold on, guys. Rather you're new. Can you guys still see my screen? Whether you're new, you've been here for a while, it's extremely, extremely, extremely important to get to the event, right? Also understanding that discipline is important. You guys, I had to discipline myself as a young single mother, understanding that, you know, hey, I see so many people around me enjoying life and, you know, they're getting to, you know, they're doing this and they're traveling, and here I am as a 25-year-old single mom at home all the time. All I do is work on my business. All I do is develop. All I do is become like a nerd and get smarter. Like, this is boring after a while. But understanding that discipline is what's going to build you the income that you want. Discipline is what's going to take you to the 6,000 a month, to the 20, 25, 30, 40, 50,000 a month, right? Understanding that you need a routine, you need a daily schedule. You can't just be out here free balling, you guys. You can't just be out here doing whatever you want to do on a day-to-day basics. You want to make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you have a routine that you're following. My routine is I love a morning devotional. I am a person that understand that without God, I am nothing. I used to live the life in my early 20s where I thought that, oh, I'm blessed. I'm a cute girl. I can get whatever I want. That was the mindset I had. Can I be honest? Can I be transparent? But that is not reality. That's not what life is about. You are a mother. You have two boys. You are a single mom. They look up to you. And you also were supposed to be a statistic to the system. I had 2 children before the age of 20. I am a colored woman. I was supposed to be on Section 8 food stamps public housing, utilizing EBT. That is my story. And I could be the girl that talks about like, oh, I was in an abusive relationship. And, you know, I just, you know, I was in all of that. Physically, verbally, mentally, all of that. That's why I am in a single mom right now. I didn't want to continue to be abused and mistreated and talked ugly and all that other stuff. I wanted to become closer to God. I wanted to become closer to the Lord. I wanted to become more in tune with Caitlin and within herself. And that's why my routine in the morning is a morning devotional, reading the word, understanding the scripture, right? Because that's how I go. Following up with your clients, you guys, again, this is everything we're talking about. That's always important in the field. Telesales clients, you know, I want you guys to understand that following up with your clients, even after you don't close them or once you close them, is what's important. Again, Jalen and Mike is my mentor, but you also want to have a belief that you are working in the best company right now in the nation. When I joined True Wealth, I was hyping them up, and not in a sense where I wanted them to put me on a pedestal, but in a sense where I saw what they were doing for other people. I saw that they were a faith-based community. I saw that they had other agents under them doing the numbers, having the testimonials, versus the people that I was so familiar with and so used to that were on social media, like acting like they were making, you know, the numbers, but really it was all a facade and it wasn't really the reality. So meeting these 2 young men who are faith-based, who, you know, are men of God, who are building something successful, who are in the early stages of their prime, who I know for a fact they're always going to continue to show up because they're not done building what they want. So knowing I'm connected to a community of all of that was phenomenal for me, right? Mastering the script, you guys, in and out. I can't emphasize that enough. Rather you're in the field, rather you are not only in the field, but rather you are also like telesales. I am a telesales agent. Mastering the script is important, right? Outside of your working hours, you guys, I highly recommend slowly start getting into like making content. So you have me, I do content I'll make content on Instagram. You have Jalen, you have Mike, you have the True Wealth Agency. Or you can just go on TikTok and hashtag life insurance, and there's going to be so many videos that you could recreate, and you could recreate it with your own sauce. You guys, investing into your business, once again, invest into your business. I know that you bought a batch of leads, and I know that you didn't see much success the first time around. I'm not going to lie to you guys, my testimony is a little different. When I joined True Wealth, my first batch of leads, I closed the second person that picked up the phone. And then I closed 3 more in that same batch. And I wasn't any special person, I just didn't give up. But I do know some people don't have that story. I know some people will purchase leads and they get a little discouraged. Maybe you're discouraged because you don't have the skill set yet. Maybe you're discouraged because, they're not picking up the phone, or you're not able to put in a full presentation, right? But when I was mistreated in my relationship and I was abused and verbally, physically, mentally, just like I was discouraged in that time of my life, that didn't mean I didn't get up, wipe my tears, and still be a mom every day and still wake up and better myself. So in other words, if I can do that, and it happened to me, the most precious thing in my world, right? Because I'm very precious. Like, in order to be the best mother to my kids, I have to value myself. Anyway, I have to put myself first. So many people are too busy putting their children first when that's not how it works. I'm sorry to say. If you're not the healthiest, if you're not the happiest, you're going to be yelling at your kids. You're going to be screaming. You're going to be angry. You're going to want to lock yourself in your room. Then you're going to have, you're going to be a room parent, and your child in this generation is going to be a room kid, like the kid that never comes out their room. Like, you don't want that. So you do have to work on you and be a better you. Same thing if you're married, if you're a wife, or if you're a husband. Like, if honestly, like, if you don't put yourself first, like, don't let that go over your head. Like, how could you truly show up for your wife and your children, So same way, invest into your business. Even when you're discouraged, keep showing up. Know your rebuttals, you guys. I highly recommend post and advertise. That's really, really important. You guys, you want to follow up with your clients with confidence. You want to definitely take full assessment of the client questions that we ask in the client worksheet. Okay. You want to be a good listener, but you want to also have authority. The more the client speaks, the more you can sell that person. The more you overspeak that client, the less chances you have of selling them. However, you still want to have control of the conversation by going in the straight line of your script, like Michael discussed just momentarily. Now, let's go into the next step. Let's go into customer acquisition, you guys. So the customer acquisition here is our script, right? Here, I'm sorry, I'm doing this, you guys. I really need to get this out the way. So make sure you guys are muting. Please mute your phone. Please. All right, so customer acquisition and life insurance. So on our script, we do have the question of, on the form, you only listed your name. Were you requesting this information for yourself or for yourself and someone else? Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, Miss Betty, were you requesting this because you recently experienced a funeral lately, or was it simply because you don't have anything in place at the moment? Right? So that's our customer acquisition. Now, were you just looking to take care of your final expenses, Miss Betty, or were you requesting this because you were looking to leave something behind to your loved one? Another question. Now, Miss Betty, you mentioned to me that you would like to make your grandson, Jesse, your beneficiary. Now, I'm just curious, if you don't mind me asking, do you believe that Jesse would be able to take care of everything you need? God forbid something happened to you without you having this proper coverage in place? Oh man, I see. I can imagine that's what had you looking to put something in place. So understanding more customer acquisition, thanks for you're allowing this client to know, like, Miss Betty, I so appreciate you. I appreciate you today for taking that moment to speak with me about your family and some of the concerns. It's clear that your family's well-being is a top priority for you. And Miss Betty, I always like to tell my families, I believe life insurance is one of the best ways to tell your family you love them without physically being present. Now, Miss Betty, we don't require you to, do any medical exams or urine samples or blood work. I'm just going to ask you a quick set based of health questions that will allow me to see what options are available for you. Then we're going through those health questions, right? Once I get through those now, regardless if she has cancer, if she has COPD, diabetes, HIV, Miss Betty, wow, I could tell you take pride in your health. You're very healthy, or if she's like somebody who only takes like blood pressure, somebody has cancer, you're not going to do that because that could be a bit contradicting or whatever, but you get the gist. Now, Miss Betty, based on your health, it looks like you should be able to qualify for our top carriers here in the state. Now, I will tell you, Miss Betty, we do have the luxury of working with about 25 accredited companies. Now, if you're familiar with companies like Mutual of Omaha, Aetna, or Aflac, those are just a few of some of the carriers we have access to search for you in the database today. Okay. Now, moving on, questions to ask the client during this entire process. And these are just a few that you guys can take a screenshot of. But questions like, Miss Betty, if we can get you qualified today, we, not I, is there anything that would hold you back from getting started? That's what that was supposed to say. Other questions that you possibly would be asking now, Miss Betty, do you happen to receive like Social Security or disability? Because the number one thing that these clients are on a fixed income, but you already want to assume and know, but subconsciously, you don't want them to know that you know that. So, for example, let's just say I get to the point where I want to talk about pricing. Well, Miss Betty, I'm not saying you are, but I will say like majority of my families and seniors that I assist, again, I'm not saying you are on a fixed income or receiving Social Security or disability, but majority of my seniors do. Does that happen to coincide with you, Miss Betty? Or sometimes before I even can finish the question, they're like, oh yeah, that's me. They're like, oh, thank God, like, ooh, like she knows I don't have a lot of income today. Right? So reassuring her. So that's a discovery, asking her if she receives that. Another question, do you have anyone who is currently financially dependent on you? I sold somebody like this who I almost wasn't about to sell, I remember. But the whole purpose of the dad getting the coverage was because his wife was widowed, but he had his daughter and he had nothing in place. And in the beginning of the presentation, he discussed how that's who he wanted to be the beneficiary. And God forbid something happened to him, his daughter would receive that coverage. So she wouldn't financially have to come out of pocket. And he almost disregarded me towards the end until before I mentioned the prices, I reevaluated and reiterated his why. Now, he told me no, but I asked him, I was like, Mr. James, whatever his name, like, do you like the idea of having this 5,000 in place? God forbid something happens to you. Yeah, I do. Remember I told you like my daughter. Because, well, Mr. James, do you believe that your daughter would be happy to know that you put this $5,000 in place? God forbid something happened to you. Well, yeah, I would. All right, Mr. James. So what we can do is we'll go ahead and see if you can get qualified. We'll have everything set up sent to your house. The policy will deliver in 5 to 10 business days. And then from there, we can go over any additional questions that you might have. Another question, do you have a mortgage? That's a great question to ask these people. And then what is their goal with getting the coverage, okay? Now, objections that you guys are gonna get a lot every single time in the same way, maybe worded differently, is I already have coverage. I don't have time right now. I can't afford it, or I did not request that. So those are going to be like your number one questions that you're going to receive in your in-home probably, or telesales, mainly telesales for sure. But it's about understanding that you have to master the person that has something in place already. You have to master the people that you know are either gonna, I don't have time right now. The same way they can say, hey, I'm cooking dinner, can you call me back? That's them saying, I don't have time right now. This same way they're like, oh, I have family over, can you call me later? That's them saying, I don't have time right now. So all of those kind of go under the same category. So understanding that it's important to master these objections, that I can't afford it, is the same thing as the client saying, oh, let me go talk to my son about it. Why do you need to talk to your son? This is for your son. You don't need your son's permission to get coverage in place. So if you pass away, he can properly bury you. So he's not doing a GoFundMe. He's not doing a fish fry, a fundraiser, or standing outside on the side of the road begging people for money because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He has to go ask his son, right? So those are all the still I can't afford it. Right. So now, Mr. James, I understand that you want to talk to your son, and I highly appreciate you for letting me know that. Now, Mr. James, do you feel as if you approached your son about you getting the policy, he would be disappointed? Well, no, why would he be disappointed? Well, I mean, you told me originally that your purpose of getting this coverage was, God forbid, something happened to you, Jane, your son would have something to take care of your arrangements. Is that right? Well, yeah. All right, great. So, is the reason why you want to talk to your son because it's a little too pricey? Is that really why? Well, yeah, it's a little pricey. I was gonna see if like we could find something less. Well, James, what I can do today is, since I'll be your ongoing agent, is let's get you started with this $3,500 funeral plan. And then as time goes on, if you get rid of a bill or pick up on some extra Social Security, we can increase it to that coverage amount that you truly desire. Boom. It works a lot. Now, advertising. So you guys, outside of that, let's talk about advertising. We're almost done here. If you're tired of chasing people, you have to invest into your business. There's too many people also on the call, maybe, that are like, oh, I'll just try to talk to my friends and family. I'll just do warm market. I'll just buy the dollar leads. And hey, if that's your current situation, fine. But if you're working a full-time job, you should have enough to invest in 30 quality leads. If you're working a full-time job. If you're not, sorry, that's a whole nother story, right? And I'm not in anybody's business. I'm not being disrespectful, but I want you guys to know that when I first started, I only had a $15 lead option. And the quicker you can buy leads and sell a policy and take that money you made from the policy you sold and rebuy some leads, the quicker you'll consistently be at the 25K a month. I know exactly what to do to make sure I deposit 20K, 25K every single month. I literally know exactly what to do. So unless I want to be lazy, I'll never make less than that a month as of now. Okay, because I've done it over the last several months. Now, leads and following up, because retention is important. You can do 30 sales in 1 month, but if you have a horrible retention, yeah, the next month you're not getting paid jack, right? Because they're taking all the money from all the people that fell off to replace all this new business, but you're not getting paid. So it's going to feel like you're working and making nothing in return. So be like intentional, you guys. I highly recommend like be intentional when you're doing this business. Like I can't stop enough. Like I can't not talk about it enough. Be intentional. Because I see like people get discouraged, people get, they just feel like, man, like why am I not going to the next level? Why am I not reaching my goal? Why am I not reaching my metrics? But it's just like, are you truly being intentional behind these screens, right? Because we can be on Zoom and not really working. We can be on the training with Michael, but not actually listening, absorbing, taking notes, and learning from the information, right? Like you would be willing to go to school for 5 years, for 4 years, get a master's degree. You're willing to get a bachelor's degree, but you're not willing to invest into your business as far as time, education, wisdom, knowledge, because that's what's going to take you guys to the next level. It's not going to be about who's the best at talking, who has you guys, I don't have a college degree. I am 25. I have 2 children. I had both of them before 20, but I've been the top producing agent for True Wealth over the last few months. You don't need a proper language. You don't need a associate's. You don't need a bachelor. You could be from jail. You can be from Yale, right? But you have to be intentional every single day in this life insurance business, or you're going to remain not making money. I had a practice company that you guys are probably well familiar with that I was not successful at. I was not making any money. And as a single mom, that hurts. As a person that has to be the sole proprietor of her family, the person that takes care of everything, the person that feeds the kids, make sure they have clothes, make sure they have shoes, make sure I'm cooking them quality food every night and not like warm up food, but actually cooking them the proper nutrients. Like all of that requires work. All of it requires money. And while I could have been doing anything else, I decided to be laser focused. You guys, don't look to the left of you. Don't look to the right of you. Look down, be focused. Michael and Jalen and myself, we gave you a script. We told you to follow a system that we've done. Now, just because you see Mike and Jalen, doing a different form of work right now, trust me, everything that they've done, they're teaching you to do, they've already done it. They are at that point where they can maybe shift up a little bit. They're in a leadership position. So while they're serving me and serving another agent and servicing other agents and all other agents that are coming in and seeing the value of True Wealth, if you can mute out, please. You guys have to understand that. Be intentional. Don't waste any more time in your life in 2025. Like, stop. Like, get to work. You have your license. Get on the Zoom calls, unmute. Don't be shy. If you're in the field, record your calls, send them to Michael, send them to Michael Cortang, send them to our other Michael, send them to Dan Island. Like we have several in the field agents right now, Julius. But yeah, you guys, like anybody can do this business. I can teach my 8-year-old son how to do this business. Like just wait till he's about like 14, 15. He's going to be a great life insurance agent. Easy. But Mike, I'm going to give it back over to you. It's 10:30 now. Thank you for your time today. It's been fun.
Beautiful call, Caitlin. Appreciate that. Can you end the recording and also make